Hello, crafty friends. It's Jess from jesscrafts.com, and today I'm here with some cards featuring the July Scrappin' for Less card kit. So, obviously, it's September, or at least it's September when it's coming out, so this is not, the most recent card kit. The most recent card kit is a super adorable pets card kit that I also featured on my channel. But Teresa asked over at Scrappin' for Less asked if I was interested in working with this kit. I have enjoyed working with their kits. They do really fit my style, and you guys seem to have enjoyed those videos. They get a lot of views and that kind of thing. So I happily accepted. For today's cards, I am going to be starting with the Collection 1 ingredients featuring Happy Birthday Boy by Echo Park and the Avery L Party Fox stamp set, which is exclusive to Scrappin' for Less. I really liked the Echo Park. I like the Echo Park paper a lot too, but the Avery L Party Foxes were one of the things that I was like, absolutely love this kit. Like, that was one of the things like I felt like I really wanted to have from the kit. So I like that there's also, though, a variety. So there is this really cute stamp set that works great for boy cards, but obviously, foxes are gender neutral. But sometimes you can get a lot of pretty stuff with card making. And so this card kit in particular offers a good variety of stuff. There's stuff that would be perfect for kids, stuff that would be perfect for boys or girls, stuff that would be perfect for adults. And there is a lot of birthday stuff in the kit, but it's not just birthday stuff. So I think it was pretty versatile. The first two cards are going to be pretty similar, and I am only going to create 10 cards this time. I mostly was just running out of time. I spend my weekends crafting, and I am not always able to craft as much as I'd like to and get as many videos out to you as I would like to. But I wanted to make sure to share this in a more timely fashion. So rather than finishing the kit, I just made the 10 cards. I colored these all up with Copics and then cut them out with my scan and cut machine. I designed a simple card and then basically kind of tried to recreate it with Scrappin' for Less kits. You can download the kind of, like, they pick a couple sketches that you can use with the kits to help spark your ideas. You could just download those anyway, even if you don't have the kit, and make some cards with it. It's just kind of a free resource on their website. But I do appreciate that, and I will often use them when I am composing some cards with the kits. For the second card, though, I did make an effort to use some of the frames and tags from Echo Park that come with the collection. Now, of course, if you know Scrappin' for Less, you know that you will get slightly different papers and frames and tags than I did, most likely, because you do not get an entire paper pad, you do not get an entire pack of embellishments, you just get a few, which to me, I like that style. I like getting kind of a sample of everything because I find it difficult to use an entire pack. I have used entire paper packs, and it can be a fun experience, but sometimes by the time you get to the end, not too interested. And I know I've said that before, but it to me is one of the things that I find unique about this kit. But just know that you might not have the same exact papers as I do. The Wishes die that I am using is from the banana split level of the kit, and both the banana split and double dip levels of the kit are still available. So if you really like the Wishes die, or it also comes with Nuvo drops, an embossing folder, a really cute flamingo stamp set, you can pick whichever level of the kit best suits you. With those die cuts, I also decided to cover them with it, like to cover the paper with adhesive before I cut them out. And the purpose of that was that it would make it a little bit easier to stick down. Another tip would be to cut it out of the layered piece. So like I layered a red piece under a blue piece, and those were solid pieces, but I probably could have cut the word wishes out of that and got a little bit more bang for my buck. I make a point to use the frames and tags because once I used up the coordinating paper, it's usually a little bit harder to then use the frames and tags that are left. So I decided to make a point to see how I could have my fox interacting with this tag. And so there's kind of, like, he's not holding it because his hand's not on it, but I kind of wanted him to sort of like them be floating and him next to it, sort of interacting with it in a small way. I also really wanted to use these happy birthday stickers that came in the collection. I think that they are great, simple sentiments to kind of like quickly add to a card, especially because the sentiments in the stamp set offer some other variety. But if you just wanted a like simple birthday message, you could also put these on like the inside of the card and things like that. I also really love the way they look. It's just rainbow. So there was a part of me that just kind of wanted to make a card where I just put all those rainbow stickers down on top of each other. But I thought that that would be like not very inspirational since that's just how the sticker sheet came. But I'll add that sentiment sticker down across the bottom, and it also helps to ground the fox as well as make it more readable, because if you do put that sentiment sticker on top of a piece of pattern paper, you're not going to be able to read it as well. The words are somewhat see-through. They are not opaque the way a stamped sentiment might be. And that's going to be it for my second cards. You could pop them up for a little bit of interest, like add some foam tape behind the fox or behind the tag. Next up is the Happy Birthday Girl collection from Echo Park, which, as you can see, has more like pinks and purples, but it also has just like kind of generally pastel colors. It also has a few of the frames and tags. And this time the stamp set is from Sunny Studio. It's called Make-A-Wish and includes a birthday cake and a smaller piece of cake as well as a sentiment. I decided to make a shaker card. The last Scrappin' for Less kit, I did not use my sequins, and there are little sequins in every single collection. I especially appreciated how well these sequins matched up with the images, and in my frames and tags, I got a frame that made for a like easy shaker card, in the sense that I wouldn't have to just make a whole shaker card. I wouldn't have to bring out any dies. I could just put a shaker behind there. So I put a double layer of foam tape all around the edges. Then I cut out another one of the frames and tags for that celebrate sentiment. I'll add a little bit of embossing powder bag in there just so that the static cling doesn't have the stencils sort of hold on to the sequins. I live in a very dry climate, and so that can certainly be a concern. Then I want to add all of my sequins in, but because it's not the whole card, and I need to then center this image in the center of my piece of pattern paper, I'm going to put the sequins right onto my pattern paper and then line up the shaker on top of it. And as you can see, I dumped the entire bag of sequins in there. I like really full shakers. Some people might prefer them not to be so full, and so you could probably get like 2 shakers out of it. But I also have a lot of sequins, so using them all up in a single card is totally fine by me. Every once in a while, I also find that my sequins kind of stick to the edges of the shaker, like where the layer of foam tape is. And one way you can avoid that is by adding like more generous powder to the edges so that any sticky area is basically covered in powder. After that, I wanted to use some of the images that, as I mentioned, I pre-cut and colored. There's not going to be coordinating dies in the kit, but I have my scan and cut, so that works out really well. And of course, anytime you add coordinating dies, you add a lot of expense. So I'm personally a huge fan of my scan and cut. There are occasionally really innovative dies out there that I enjoy to use that are like also a part of coordinating. In the sense of like, when little animals have the coordinating dies that also cut their hands out so they can hold things. And that's just kind of an example I think about off the top of my head. But having the scan and cut really saves me a lot of time. The sentiment from the stamp set is Make-A-Wish, which is where the stamp set gets its name. I am not using the sketches as much, so you can go on the Scrappin' for Less website and look at those sketches regardless of whether you bought the kit. But this time I kind of decided to be led a little bit more by the consumable elements of the kit. And what I mean by that is like the tags, the pattern paper, and what would get kind of a one-time use. So I made a simple square there. I believe that's like 2x2, and a quick banner shape, as well as that birthday candle paper to coordinate with the cake. For my card bases, I am just using quality cardstock from my stash as opposed to using the colored cardstock that comes in the kit, just because I like to save that for other projects or for things like die cutting out words or other elements, because it is really quality cardstock. For my next card, my inspiration was using that birthday candle piece with the purple, and so I decided to create a strip across my card and kind of use it like I might use a strip of ribbon. But while it's as long as the card, it's not longer than the card. So I wanted it to go right off the edges. Since I was going to include that yellow piece with the cake anyway, I thought I could cut a gap in it essentially, and then it would look like one continuous piece even though it wasn't. So that's a good tip for if your scrap or your element doesn't quite fit as far as you want, you can extend it by covering up the part that you have to cut out. I really liked the bright yellows that were mixed in with the purples and pinks in this collection, and that's why I chose to color all of my cake as vanilla cake. Again, here I'm pulling in that frame because, as mentioned, I like to make sure I use up the consumables, and when the pattern paper is low, they also will be. Next up is the collection 3 with the Escape to Paradise papers by Bo Bunny, and the Sizzix pineapple stamp and die. So this time it actually does come with coordinating dies, which is a little bit out of the ordinary, but a cool deal there. I stamped the image in colored ink, and then I Copic colored it. So it kind of looks like it's just solid stamped, but the pineapple does stamp with like the diamond shapes empty, and I had to add that in. Whereas the sunglasses, though, they stamp solid. So you just kind of layer things up the way you like. You get a couple of choices of how you want to make your pineapple. And I intended to use some of the pineapples from the stamp set, mostly so I could show that off to you. But there are a lot of there's like pineapple ephemera by Scrapping for Less that you could use to make a couple of quick cards without even needing to touch the stamp set. In this instance, I believe the stamp set did not come with any sentiments. So it was a smaller stamp set, but again, it did come with the coordinating dies. So, trade-offs there. So I decided to pull from the last stamp set, which is the Create a Smile Rock On stamp set. And it has this you rock sentiment, and I think it also has like a for you sentiment. So here is where, even though this is in some ways, kind of at first glance, a birthday kit, this particular collection actually doesn't have anything that's birthday in it. And you can make some non-birthday cards, but you could also easily pull in the birthday sentiments and make pretty pineapple-themed birthday cards too. Since these are my initial cards with the kit, though, I'm going to focus a lot on the pattern paper, and I'm going to try to combine it with the different pre-made elements as well as the pre-stamped and pre-colored elements that I made myself. And here, when I cut that flower piece for a card, I tried to use up the scrap immediately instead of cutting into another piece of pattern paper, because I find that when I use my scraps immediately, I get more, I wouldn't say more use out of my pattern paper, but I use up more of my pattern paper. Whereas when I just kind of go with whole sheets every time, I'm left with a lot of scraps, and then I have to get super creative to try to use them, or they just kind of sit somewhere in my craft room for a long time. I liked how the yellow paper wasn't too busy, even though it does have a slight pattern to it, and it allowed the pink paper to pop off a bit. And I'm going to go in with that you rock sentiment. When I want to cut a banner, I try to keep things simple. I cut a straight line up where I guesstimate that the center is, because things don't have to be perfect. These are handcrafted. And then I cut in from the two edges. So I'm basically cutting a triangle out of the bottom. If you try to go in from the edges without cutting down the center, I find that for me personally, I'm much more likely to get things kind of off center and lopsided looking, which is not what I would like to have. So with these Scrappin' for Less ephemera, they are like exclusive to Scrapping for Less. There's something that they're designing based on the card kit elements, so they're really unique, which is fun. You can't, go purchase them anywhere. Finally, I have the last collection. This is the one where I think I may have created the least number of cards, because like I said, I was either exactly at 10 or just over in terms of making cards. But the pattern papers from this are the Free Spirit On Point, it's either Free Spirit or On Point by My Favorite Things. I don't actually know which one I got. I guess I'm gonna assume that I have On Point because I have arrows. And then the Rock On set from Scrappin' for Less that I mentioned, you can see over there, has some different interesting, it has like a little, what do you call it? Jukebox? No. Radio? Yeah, radio. So it has like a radio and then the music lines that come out of it. And I'm going to warn you that I don't know anything about music. I don't know how to read music. I don't know what any of those notes mean. And so I'm going to be putting music coming out of the box or a radio. Wow. And then it may seem really silly if you know what that means, but I'm just looking at them from a design point of view, because I also wind up stamping some on, I don't even know what it's called. There's a treble clef on the end and there's those lines. There's probably a term for that. Feel free to educate me down in the in the comments. But I'm just going to place them on there in a way that I think looks appealing. And there's all these little music note stickers, but there's also music note stamps. So if you've used up all of your stickers, you can create a similar design just with the stamps as well. As you can see, I did paper piece my radio. So I stamped it on the tannish paper and then on a maroon paper and cut out the center. I also did a little bit of Copic coloring because I didn't want to fully color in these at this point. I was trying to kind of find faster ways to do things, and I thought that since it was such a simple image to cut out, that I would be able to cut it out faster than I'd be able to Copic color it. But then I added just a touch of the brown there to make the knob sort of stand out from the background. I tried to pick a green that would stamp well, pick a green that would be quite a bit darker than the pattern paper so that it would stand out and be readable. The first one I picked didn't work out, so I just grabbed a second one and stamped on top of it, which is why being able to stamp with my Misty was awesome there, because I would have felt like I ruined the pattern paper if I just stamped it and couldn't restamp it in the same place. So, lifesaver there. Then I will add my radio to the bottom left-hand corner, but here's where I'm going to try to make the You Rock sentiment make sense. So they're kind of they get bigger as they go to the right, all the sentiments, which I think is to make it seem like it's music coming out of the radio. But then I thought, maybe it's also supposed to look like it goes well on the lines, kind of like lyrics. But then I don't think you'd put lyrics on that part of on the treble clef line thing. So yeah, excuse my complete music ignorance. I should just send this card to another person who knows nothing about music and won't think that this is silly. But anyway, I think it looks kind of cute at least. And that's going to basically finish it up. But then I thought, well, there's this really pretty music ribbon and I haven't used that. So even though I thought I was done, I went back in and made a point to try to use that. Because again, that's kind of like a consumable. So if I don't use it right away and then I kind of try to integrate it into my stash, I'm much more likely to never actually use it. To make it stand out a bit, because I'd had that sort of wavy background, I did mount it on a piece of the red paper first. So that is it for my cards today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're interested in more crafting tutorials, including other Scrappin' for Less kits, if you're a subscriber, or I actually have 10 cards, 1 kit videos for a lot of kits, so you can see what I got on my channel. Hit the subscribe button. I will leave you links in the video description below to Scrappin' for Less so you can check out this card kit. They do sell some of the elements separately too, so if you just really like one stamp set, you might be able to pick it up that way as well. Thank you so much for watching. Have an awesome day. Bye.